One of the features that's going to be useful for a lot of different things is the walls. They're a lot more powerful now that you can move them about in various different ways. I'll just create a simple curved wall here. We'll give it a bit more detail in the panel length, and we'll change the shape of the wall so that it covers a bit more of the road, and we'll flatten it down as well. Now we'll go in, zoom into each of these, and using this Y value here, just raise it 2 centimeters above the track. For each of those points. That's pretty good. And the other thing we'll do is make all of those points grounded. Prior to that, only the center point of your wall would be calculated and raised to be level with the track. In this case now, each of these points is going to be calculated to be that amount of gap above wherever they sit for every single cross section. And you'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. We'll just flag this not to be collidable. We'll go to the material and we'll remove each of those materials so there's nothing on there, and then we'll find the one that I wish to add on, which is skid marks. We'll add that on there. Go to the advanced properties, change that to a larger amount, say 50. This fit neatly feature will fit it perfectly from one node to the other. 50 would likely extend off somewhere down here, so then it's squished down to fit there. Now if we go into the move nodes feature, you can see that moving about. You can drag this off the side of your track as well, so it'll be useful for adding a bit more detail, a bit more character to your track. You can play around a bit with the panel length and the number of points that you put in that. If you go off into some bumpy sections, I've got some sections off here, you'll see that it starts to break down a bit where it's where the track is sort of pushing through. Let's move this back here. You see this patch here, and that's because if we look in wireframe mode, it's a little bit hard to see, but if you can picture, these polygons here are actually going a little bit underneath the ground. Now you can either raise the shape up here, add more points in, or reducing the panel length could help as well with fixing that. So it works best on flat surfaces, but if you were to create a very detailed mesh, it would also eliminate some of that as well by adding more points in there. Let's set it back, and I'll show you one other thing that you can do with this. There's a new texture I've just added, and I've got to tweak it a bit, but if we look at the materials here, select that grid, you see these are little start grid positions. We'll move this over here and we'll add that grid again to there. We'll change the shape so that these 2 points are closer to each other, and we'll expand this out so they're taking up a lot more of the track. Now that's not much of a distance, so if I just extend that a bit, so you've got more start positions, then you can use your align to track feature to align those start positions. And the good thing about this is that if we go into move mode again, if I insert another node somewhere in the middle, and maybe one there and one there just to keep it smooth, we can now use the align to track feature again, move it from side to side, and you'll find that that's put all the textures on there. Then you can fine tune that a little bit more for each position, get it lined up as you'd like. So that's a good way of putting textures on. The other thing you can do that with this now is go back to the materials here, go to your advanced properties and change the offset here. If I change it to 0.25, you can see that that second material is moved back further. You change it to 0.5 and it'll be halfway between there and the next one, so it allows you to have a staggered start, which is another cool feature. And I'm sure there's going to be many possibilities of using these things for all sorts of neat little decals that you can put onto your track. Hopefully you'll come up with some smarter stuff than I can.